And now I'm on a mission to demystify child's play through empowering you with the knowledge of play schemas. Educators like me have known about them for years, and now it's time to bring you on the ride. Kia ora, hello, I'm Ruth Vercoe, a teacher turned mum here on a mission to demystify child's play through understanding play schemas. If you've ever found yourself asking, why is my child doing that? Whether it's throwing their soft toys, hiding stones around the house, or lining up their crayons, then you're in the right place, and certainly not alone. Here, we'll explore the magic of play through the lens of play schemas, those hidden, repeated patterns in your child's behaviour that holds the key to unlocking more meaningful play and connection. Through understanding play schemas, you'll be able to move beyond those one-off activities and understand the why behind your child's play. Join me each week as we dive into playful insights that will help you bring more joy, connection, and understanding into your parenting journey and set the stage for a lifetime of learning. Let's dive on in. Hey there, welcome to episode 1. I'm Ruth Vercoe and I am so happy that you've joined me here. Whether you're a parent, grandparent, auntie, uncle, or someone who's simply curious about the magic of childhood, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to start the journey of demystifying child's play by diving deep into something that has changed the game in my parenting: play schemas. Now, if you're anything like me, play is an everyday part of life. It is what fills the gaps between meals, nap times, and the ever-elusive few moments of quiet you get as a parent, which I can confirm in the early years is certainly not on the toilet. But what if I told you that play is more than just entertainment for kids, that it's actually one of the most important ways they learn and grow? Now, I've got a lot to share today. We're going to start with a high-level overview of play schemas and then a little bit about what to expect from me as we join together on this learning journey. So, whether you're out on a walk, catching a rare moment of quiet, or multitasking around the house, let's dive in. For me, becoming a mum completely changed my entire perspective on play. Before that, I spent years working as a full-time teacher. Now back at work, I'd say I'm a part-time teacher and a full-time mum. Through my career though, I always had a particular interest in child development and readiness for formal learning. And I've always been fascinated by what makes kids tick, what motivates them, and how they make sense of this world. These questions have guided me through years of teaching, and they still guide me today as I parent my 2 little ones. But here's the thing, being a teacher and being a parent are 2 very different experiences. In the classroom, I had the luxury of stepping back and observing a child's behaviour with a professional lens, then taking a breather at 3 p.m. At home, when I'm elbow deep in the daily realities of parenting, it's a little more chaotic, as I'm sure you can relate to. But that professional lens hasn't disappeared. In fact, it's become sharper. And over the years, I've learnt to embrace the idea that play isn't something that kids just do for fun or when they need a brain break from the real learning. It's essential to their development. And perhaps even more importantly, it's a key part about how they connect with us as parents. But it hasn't always been that way in my parenting journey. I remember when my first son was born. He's 3.5 now, and I had all these grand ideas on parenting. I'd read the books, listened to all those podcasts, followed countless accounts online, and had years of teaching under my belt. But nothing quite prepares you for the reality of those early days. The sleep deprivation, endless nappy changes, the overwhelming love, and those feelings of doubt. In those moments, it was play that helped me find my way. Watching him start to engage with the world in tiny, playful ways, whether it was grasping at a soft toy or giggling at a silly face I made, it reminded me that these small interactions were laying the foundations for his growth. That's when I started to think more deeply about play, not just as a break from my parenting duties, but at the heart of how I could connect with him. Now, as a mum of 2 boys who are full of energy, play is our lifeline. Whether we're chasing each other outside with the hose, building towers with blocks, or creating elaborate huts, which involves deconstructing the whole sofa, play is what brings us together. It's how I see their personalities shine, how I understand their needs, and how we make the most of the chaotic, beautiful, messy moments of everyday life. But here's the thing that many of us as parents don't always realize. As I alluded to just before, play isn't just random. It's not just something kids do to pass the time. There is an incredible structure behind it, something I'd heard about in my teaching career. And one of these incredible structures is called play schemas. Now, I didn't see it with my own child at first. It was through sharing the ups and downs of raising babies and toddlers with friends that got me thinking, hey, what you're talking about sounds like they're not just dropping their bottle over and over again to annoy you. They're actually exploring the trajectory schema. Or they've taken your keys and sunglasses and hidden them again. Did you know that what they're probably doing is exploring the enveloping schema? Now, I know what you're thinking, and you quite likely have the same puzzled face my friends had. Trajectory schema? Enveloping schema? What on earth is a schema? Don't worry, you are not alone. A play schema is essentially a repeated pattern of behaviour that children engage in as they explore and learn. It's like a blueprint for how they interact with the world around them, making connections and linking up concepts. And now I'm on a mission to demystify child's play through empowering you with the knowledge of play schemas. Educators like me have known about them for years, and now it's time to bring you on the ride. Through the repetitive nature of play schemas, we might get frustrated, but for them, it is incredibly purposeful. And here's what's fascinating. Once you start recognizing these patterns in their play, the play schemas, you can start to see how deeply they're connected to your child's development. They're not just playing for the sake of it. They're learning, they're developing, and you'll start noticing them throughout all your time with your little ones, and likely your friends' kids too. Okay, let's just expand a bit on the example I gave before. I need to remember this is only episode 1. We'll have the chance to journey together as we learn more about play schemas in the coming weeks. Okay, so one of my boys went through a phase where he was obsessed with throwing objects, balls, toys, anything he could get his hands on, and always dropping his bottle or his food off the table. At first, I thought, okay, he's just being naughty. We are in a phase where everything ends up on the floor. But then I realised that this behaviour was something bigger. I could see the repetition in it all. It all linked to the exploration of the trajectory schema, learning about how objects move through space. So it wasn't just a naughty phase, it was an important part of his cognitive development. By understanding that, I was able to shift my perspective and my friends, as I said earlier when I shared with them. Instead of getting frustrated with the constant throwing, I pivoted my mindset and started providing opportunities for him to engage with this play schema in a way that was safe and constructive. We'd go outside and throw balls, would build ramps for cars, or even set up little experiments to see how different objects would move when launched. And you know what? It made our playtime so much more intentional. He was a lot more engaged and a lot more fun. Did it completely stop what I thought was inappropriate throwing? No. But it was a lot less and a lot easier for me to redirect to another activity rather than trying to completely change the activity to something he just didn't want to do. Through recognizing and acting on his play desires and needs, it led to a stronger play connection between us, and it meant less tantrums and big emotions, what I had caused by trying to get him to do something he just didn't want to. And you know what? We're just scratching the surface here. There are many more. For example, there's rotation, where kids are fascinated by spinning objects or even spinning themselves. There's transporting, where they love moving things from one place to another, often in buckets or containers. And let's not forget what we mentioned before, enveloping, which is all about wrapping up objects or covering them, like when a child insists on wrapping their toys or blankets, or stuffing them inside boxes, or hiding their keys, as I said before. Over the next few weeks, I'll be unpacking more and more about play schemas, but if you want to get ahead of the game, I've created a cheat sheet which briefly outlines the 10 most common play schemas, and it is free. If this sounds a little bit like what you need, head to playschemas.com/free to nab it. That's play, schemas.com/free. Okay, so each of these schemas represents a different way children are processing the world around them. And once you start to recognize these patterns, it's like a light bulb goes off. Suddenly, their play makes so much more sense. As parents and those invested in the development and growth of little ones, we may often find ourselves trying to make sense of our child's behaviour. Why are they doing this? Why are they so fixated on that? And when we don't understand it, it can sometimes feel frustrating. And unbeknown to us, we're actually the catalyst of these big emotions. Like I said before, trying to change them to do something they just don't want to do. But here's the good news. When we start to understand play schemas, we begin to see that these behaviours aren't random. They're purposeful, and they're a key part of how our children learn and grow. This understanding doesn't just help us connect with our kids, it can help us relax into parenthood a little bit more when we can see that even the most puzzling or frustrating behaviour has a purpose. We can then let go of some of the stress. We can lean into their play, and sometimes that's all they need from us, to be present, to join in their world, and to enjoy the ride. Now, speaking of leaning into play, something you'll get to know throughout the upcoming episodes is that I'm a big fan of being outside the house. For me, it has been a game changer as a parent. Getting outside, I know it sounds simple, right? But for me, there's something about being outdoors that makes everything a little easier. When I'm outside with my boys, I feel like I can breathe a little deeper, play a little freer, and connect with them on a different level. The world becomes our playground, whether at the park, in the yard, or just out for a walk. There's something about being outside that calms us all down, opens up space for connection. I remember one afternoon, we were having one of those days. You know the kind? Everyone was cranky. Nothing was going smoothly. I had tried all of my checklist. Tired? No. Hungry? No. Too hot? No. Too cold? No. I was feeling a little overwhelmed. So I grabbed their jackets and we headed outside. We didn't have a plan. We just ended up walking, ending up at a nearby park. And within minutes, everything had shifted. They were exploring, running and crawling around, picking up sticks and laughing. And I felt like I could finally breathe. Those moments have reminded me about how important it is to get outside, even when it feels like the last thing I have energy for. Nature has this amazing ability to reset our minds, to refocus us on what really matters. And when it comes to parenting, that's priceless. Another thing that I need you to know, and you'll hear woven through these episodes, is that play does not have to be complicated. It doesn't require fancy toys or elaborate setups. In fact, the most powerful play often happens with the simplest of materials: sticks, rocks, cardboard boxes, kitchen findings, or even just space to run and explore. Our kids don't need us to create Pinterest-worthy play environments every day. While the aesthetics make amazing photos to share with the grandparents and on Instagram, what they need is for us to show up, is to be present and to engage with them in their play, whatever that looks like. And sometimes that means stepping back and letting them take the lead. So where does that leave us? Well, as parents, it leaves us with an incredible opportunity. We get to be our children's first playmates, their first teachers, and their first partners in exploration. And through play, we get to build memories that will last a lifetime. And at the end of the day, I believe play is at the heart of childhood. It's where the learning happens, where these connections are made, and where joy is found. And the more we understand it, the more we can embrace it, not just as something kids do, but as something we can do with them. So here's what I'm inviting you to do. Take a step back and observe your child's play. Look for those patterns, those little behaviours that might seem random, but are actually incredibly purposeful. And when you find them, lean into them. Play with your child, follow their lead, and let yourself be a part of their world. Don't forget, you can head to playschemas.com/free for a 101 of the 10 most common play schemas. Because here's the truth. Time we spend playing with our kids is time well spent. It's time that will shape their future and ours. Thank you so much for joining me on today's first episode of Demystifying Child's Play Through Play Schemas. I look forward to you joining me in the next episode as we start to unpack unlocking play schemas and how they support our child's learning. I hope you're taking into your day new ideas and insights to help you connect with your child through play in meaningful and fun ways. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe so you never miss out on future tips, strategies, and those aha moments. Then share it with other parents and caregivers who are also ready to explore the power of play schemas. If you want to dive in more, head over to the blog at playschemas.com/001 for the show notes. That's play, schemas.com/001. And hey, I would love to hear your playtime stories. Whether you're celebrating a win or trying to crack the mystery behind a new behaviour, I'm here for it. Reach out on social media or drop me a message. Until next time, say it with me, today is a great day to play.